To begin this practice, we're going to start with horse stance. To find your horse stance, you're going to do anywhere between 5 and 7 heel-toe paces outward into a wide base. And then you're going to just sink into it. And at this point in the practice, all I want you to do is just see it like you're maybe sitting on like a bar stool. You're just sitting on a bar stool. And this is our basic position for the legs. But also from there, we're wanting to sort of build some more structure up from this place. So what I'm going to suggest you do is you initially check in with the contact area of your feet on the ground and position your feet in such a way that your toes can maybe splay a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more sensation or heat in the sole of the foot. And through that sensation, start to ground your energy down. Okay, you can even imagine that there are little roots cracking out the soles of your feet and you're driving them down through the bedrock of the earth, through all the water caverns, right down to the very core of the planet. So you're deeply rooted into the core of the earth with your legs, okay? And then from there, moving up into the pelvis, you're gonna clock your pelvis forward and back, all right, just to get a sense of where your pelvis can go. When you clock your pelvis forward, it's 12 o'clock. And when you clock your pelvis back, it's 6 o'clock. After a handful of those clocks, forward and back, in this sagittal plane, meaning forward, you're going to centrate the pelvis. So you're going to put your pelvis somewhere in between 12 and 6 o'clock. Have one hand on your pubic bone and one hand on your tailbone. And from there, from that neutral centrated pelvis, start to move up and down in your horse stance and just mobilize the hips a little bit. What this will do is just familiarize yourself with how to move in and out of this structure smoothly and safely, as well as push a little bit more blood into your legs for this practice. Go right down to the end of your range of motion, and that will maybe feel like a bit of griminess in the hip, or it'll feel like you're losing that central position of the pelvis. Maybe your pelvis might start to push back to 6 o'clock. So find the depth that you can still hold that pelvic structure as well, and that's going to be your 10 out of 10. And from there, come up to about a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in terms of the depth that you can hold. So again, sitting around that high bar stool type position. Now from there, long, wide, broad spine that you could maybe call bright. A bright spine. It's not kinked up, it's not twisted, it's not slouching, you're not sticking your chest out, it's just long and bright. Rest your hands initially on the upper thigh. Relax your elbows, and what this will do is centrate your shoulders. Now let's ground this part of the body. So with that long and bright spine, hands on the upper thigh, elbows relaxed and shoulders centrated, begin to ground down through your hands as well. So actually press in on the upper thigh and sort of push down, and also imagine that there are tiny little roots coming out of your hand and grounding into your upper thigh and traveling down your leg and into the core of the earth. That long and bright spine is also grounding down through your pelvis and connecting into the core of the earth. So you're deeply grounded in a physical structure sense. Now, chin parallel to the ground, and just hold this pose for 20 seconds or so. Deeply rooted into the earth, your physical structure. Structure is one pillar of the masculine transmission. It's everything from integrity, so structural integrity, to how you manage time and space. How deeply rooted in this moment in time can you be in your physical structure. staying very meticulous with this structure, despite any little bit of pain that's coming up in your body. Just keep letting that marinate. The whole point of this pose is to practice being on an edge. So this edge is a metaphor for any edge that you experience in your life. Now, an edge can be described as any point in time where you feel like you might start to close, collapse, have the desire to run. Some kind of habitual thing you do when you're up against your edge of capacity for keeping your heart open, your consciousness on, staying relaxed in the body. So there's got to be some pain in the legs, but just stay with that marinating feeling. And then with your left hand, I want you to imagine that you've got a bowl of water sitting in front of your pelvis, and you're just going to give it a little stir. And from there, you're going to bring your arm up and you're going to breathe that water into your nose, and then return it back down to the earth with breathing out through pursed lips of the mouth. I'm just going to do this for about 20 seconds or so. So in through the nose fully and deeply, out through pursed lips of the mouth. And literally just start to imagine that you're breathing in life itself. So you've got this physical structure, but you've got this lovely fluid flow of life that you're breathing in and out. This is what we call the systema breath. In through the nose, fully, deeply. Out through pursed lips of the mouth, fully and deeply. Okay, returning the hand to the upper thigh. Stay with that breath now. In through the nose, out through pursed lips of the mouth. So now, throughout the entirety of this practice, that is how you're going to breathe. And what you're going to be practicing here with that systema breath is placing a little flow, and specifically relaxation, or at least how you say tethered to relaxation, inside of the body. So another 10 seconds or so in this pose, in through the nose, out through pursed lips of the mouth. See if you can use this breath to make this posture sustainable. Now, with the arms, lift them up. Moving into heart horse now. So imagine that you're holding a big beach ball out in front of your chest and you're wrapping your arm around it, but the palms of your hands are somewhat facing you. Maybe it's 30 to 45 degrees with your hand angle, but you can look forward and actually see the inside of your hand, your palm. So build this structure up now too. Relaxed in the shoulder, elbow below the wrist, thumb up, space between the fingers, staying with that systema breath, but also managing that long and bright spine, that neutral pelvis, and the position of your legs that are in horse stance, deeply rooted into the earth. In through the nose, out through pursed lips of the mouth. And if your legs aren't hurting at this point in time, if they're not shaking a little bit, if you're not starting to question what the hell it is you're doing here, sink a little deeper. Take yourself to the edge where you're at risk of collapsing. This is where you can actually start to repattern and reprogram and train your nervous system to hold the pose of availability, courage, love, integrity. You can do that with keeping that breath there. Now, on every exhale, I want you to imagine that the walls of your heart are pressing out onto your hands. So the left side of your heart is pressing out onto your left hand, and the right side of your heart is pressing out onto your right hand, as a means of opening your heart wider despite the pain you feel in your legs, despite the desire to run, the desire to habitually close and collapse, project, blame, victimize. ground down in your breath with the awareness of how you can open your heart and stay in the pose to allow that needy little boy inside you to ground down also. So in through the nose, out through pursed lips of the mouth, pressing your heart into the palms of your hands, holding your heart open. It takes courage to do that. This is your courage center, your chest. So keep pressing your courage, right? The courage to open despite the pain out into the palms of your hands. Don't lose that breath now. Now on top of all that, I want you to open your heart so wide that you can press the awareness of your heart out beyond your hands. So look up slightly, look through your hands, stay meticulous with that structure and that breath, and begin to press that awareness, that loving awareness, that courage as a type of consciousness out into the room you find yourself in. So for me right now, it's a bunch of trees, a BMX track, and an oval that's across from me. I am pressing my awareness out to that. And really begin to notice here how there's pain, yet despite the pain, holding that pose, that breath, that with that taking of that attention off yourself somewhat, you notice you have more capacity. It's somewhat relieving to take the attention off your own pain for a moment. But see if you can do this. Keep 50% of your awareness on yourself, so that ability to keep your heart open despite the pain, and 50% out through and around this moment. You can maybe picture yourself pressing that awareness down the street, up into the trees, but send it right up to some mountains, through rivers and streams. Maybe even direct it to someone in your life that needs your loving awareness, your attention. Send it to their heart. In through the nose, out through pursed lips of the mouth. How you do this is how you do everything. That negative chatter that might be coming through. That's your brain trying to sabotage this moment and have you run away from the pain. So in this very moment, with those legs shaking, or those questions erupting in your mind, that desire to close your heart and just press stop. You know, oh, that's enough for today, I'm tired. This is the edge. This is how you can entrain your nervous system to hold more, be more, specifically be more available to life itself, despite the pain. I can't say that enough. Open your heart wider, despite the pain. Sink lower. A couple more minutes now. Fuck this moment open. Penetrate it with loving awareness. In through the nose, out through the mouth, fully, deeply. Find pleasure in that. Find pleasure in the breath. That is the flow within the structure. That's how you stay relaxed in this moment. The structure, the relaxation, and the consciousness all coming together to transmit out, to amplify that masculine tone, and to make really clear to the feminine that you got this. Like bass, mid, and treble. Relaxation, structure, and consciousness. Hold that as one. Bring it through the cell walls of your body. Send it out. We're inside the last minute now. What is your intention for your life? This is how you become the man that you know you are. And yet there are these habits in the way. Break them down right now. 40 seconds. Don't drop that breath. Don't close that heart. And if you do, without judgment, just come back into it and go again. Recommit your love again. 25 seconds. Go deeper. Hurt more. And train your nervous system to hold more. This is capacity training. Stay relaxed in that pain. Hold that structure. Press your awareness out. 7 seconds. Now, on an out breath of your choosing, don't stand up straight away, you've still got more. On an out breath of your choosing, slowly stand up. Close your eyes, hands by your side. Breathe in a way that feels in line with your biology right now, meaning you don't control it. On every out breath, just soften some of that tension in your legs. Ground down the very base of your heart. Crack some more of those roots out right down into the core of the earth. That dark, grounded depth of your heart. And then open your eyes and begin to lift your upper heart up to match your intention for your life. Breathe into both those aspects, grounding the heart down, lifting the upper heart up. And my suggestion now is that you walk around as this transmission. You could take this practice as being a 10 out of 10 for your attempt to transmit out that masculine essence. But now walk around as a 2 out of 10. Holding the pose in your physical structure, long spine, be in your legs. Bring relaxation through with your breath. Press your consciousness out through and around the moment. Os.